Welcome back to the Focus ST Best Mods for Your Money series. You've done stage 1, 2, and 3. Now you're wondering, well, what's next? Stay tuned because there's plenty more. Stage 3 Plus would be an additional list of things that is after stage 3 or part of stage 3, but not in a certain order. Now this is my stage 3 Plus list, and stage 3 Plus would be basically if you want to make more than like 370 or 360 wheel and you're already big turbo and you're wondering, well, what could I do next? Well, the first thing you want to do if you want to go past the limits of the high pressure fuel pump is aux fuel. So the best options for auxiliary fuel is the 4-port because you get equal distribution. I'm going to show you mine. So this is my 4-port right here. This has a like a return line on it. So what that means is like the stratified one has a dead end or over here, and it tees off on the feed line and it shares it with the high pressure fuel pump. So this is actually a better option to have a return line. What that does is your feed goes to the rail and it's always flowing non-stop because this end is feeding the high pressure fuel pump. Now the 4-port is the best option for fueling because you're going to have equal distribution and it's going to clean your intake valves the best. And also you have this split-second controller which controls, it's like a separate ECU, and it controls the injector system, and they all pulse at once. So there's not like individual pulsing. You would need an aftermarket ECU to do that. But this makes it where it just comes on at once and it programs a certain amount of fuel that you need for your calibration, and it goes by a boost reference for your map sensor on your intake manifold. And then it references off your RPMs. So that way there it knows when to trigger the injectors and it gives you that extra fuel. I'm running 65-pound injectors. That's usually the baseline. This kit is from ESP, Elliott Specialized Performance. So really awesome company. I highly recommend them. If you don't want them, and there's stratified tuning that's a little bit more expensive. There's Speed Performance, I believe, still does theirs. Or you can just make your own. You can buy this radium kit right here, this fuel rail, and it comes with a spacer that's in between right there. And what you need to do when you do install this is generally, for all of them, you have to cut the intake manifold, the end off right here. Not a big deal, you just hack it off with a saw. And yeah, it's pretty simple. The wiring, don't be intimidated by it. It's really simple. The ground wire for it is right here. I have mounted it right on the body there, the frame. See the positive, I have it in the fuse box right here. So generally, this is the add a fuse. I have it disconnected right now. Yeah, it's pretty much how you do that. So the 4-port is definitely worth it if you want to go over 370 wheel. And you maxed out on your high pressure fuel pump. I've maxed out at 360 at sea level on 93. So on my E85 tune last year, I made 540 at the wheels, and it was the stock intake fuel pump and those injectors that came with the kit. So it definitely can make some jam just on a standard 4-port kit. You don't need nothing too crazy. But I highly suggest the ESP or Radium kit. Build your own kit if you want, or you can, get the kits that are sold out there in the aftermarket. When you want to upgrade your turbo, I'd say you'd want to at the same time upgrade your charge pipes. You don't have to, but generally with stock charge pipes, they won't flow as well and are not as reliable because the rubber can actually dry rot. So these are the factory charge pipes. So this is the cold pipe here, and like the size of it isn't that bad. It's a little narrow right there, so it's a little restrictive. This is your general 2-inch, out of the turbo, and then you got a little muffler thing here, kind of restricts it, and then this is a 2-inch right here. So believe it or not, this isn't that restrictive, and because your outlet on your turbo generally is going to be 2-inch anyways, so that it's matched up to the turbo. So but it is better to get a upgraded charge pipe because It's going to last longer. You're not going to have the rubber. And this rubber is good for if you don't daily it. Just because, you know, if you do daily it, this will eventually crack, you know, in all the weather, you know, like the rain, cold, and all that. This is my original charge pipes from 2012, so pretty good condition. Of course, I've hardly used them, but still, I don't drive this car in the winter or in the rain, so so these are your upgraded options. Now, I highly recommend the Mishimoto pipe or the 3P pipe, hot pipe, because you can mount your blow-off valve right on here, and it's going to be in a better position, easier access, and you know, it's better to have it there overall, I believe. And like this one here, I had it welded. Here, I'll show you the angle. So if anyone wants to do this, it's really easy. Have the flange welded on. It's literally vertical, and it's right in between where the silicone coupler will go on right here for the intercooler, and then right the bracket. So it's right in between, exactly, just like that. So believe it or not, I use this for my EFR can. It fit great. 2.5 inches, obviously. There's some cold pipes out there like the CPE and the CVF. The CVF cold pipe, if you're going to go with that, I would highly recommend getting their charge pipes and then having this welded on their charge pipe as well. Just exactly where this one is. You can do it vertical, or you can kind of do it like this one, like how this 3P one is, kind of off to the side a little bit. But this one here has plenty of room as well, so it doesn't really matter. This one's just closer to the ground, so if you're low, you're gonna have a better chance of hitting something. So yeah, also I like the Mishimoto one because there's less clamps. There's only, let's see, 3 clamps. So you got one on the intercooler, one here, and then one that's gonna be on your elbow, which is over here. So here's the elbow that goes with it. And I actually used, call me crazy, but I used this worm clamp because it clamps on better. I had this blow off on the turbo because the T-bolt clamp was so wide it doesn't want to grip good. And this small worm clamp, it's actually a heavy duty stainless worm clamp, and it held up to 540 no problem. 29 pounds of boost, so it's awesome. So I might end up getting some more of these heavy duty clamps. The thing is, and it didn't blow off once, it's narrower, so it gets in between the turbo a lot easier. I'll actually show you right here. See, this is narrow. So what happens, look at this, you don't have much room there. Like by the time you're getting it on there, you're almost like right there with it. You can't really get in between. So this works a lot better because it seats into the you know, crevice more basically, and it just pushes down, and you can feel this lip a lot better, and that's what you want. You want it nice and tight on there, gripping good, and it won't pop off because you can feel this all around. Now there is some upgrades that you can do to your big turbo. Say you got a ATP Garrett style turbo and you're internally wastegated. Now internally wastegated turbos are generally good up to like probably 450 wheel or 440 wheel if you're like a 3076 or a 2867 Gen 2. But best option is to upgrade to an external wastegate setup. And they make kits out there where you can block off the wastegate, like the arm right here. So you can block this off. Now this is an EFR, so you don't want to do that. But yeah, so you have the ability to do that. And then when you block that off, you can run that kit and it bypasses. And so what it does is when you run an external wastegate, it has a bigger opening. So say like these turbos here will have like a 28 or 29 millimeter open for the wastegate. You get like a 44 millimeter or a 38. Now if you're undecided on what you'd want for size, either 38 or a 44 tile, for example. I'd say go 44 if you have a goal of making more power, especially over 450 wheel. Under 450, like say between 350 and 450, you'd want to run a 38 millimeter right off the bat and not going internal. So if you want to keep the stock form like as stock as possible, but run like 350 wheel, then run an internal wastegate. The wastegates on the Garretts actually are not very good. They suck. This wastegate here, they don't offer from the Garretts, but this one here is on the EFR, an upgraded version. This thing holds so well. I made, like I said, 540 at the wheels on E85 with this setup right here. Upgraded housing. So this is the factory housing on the EFR, and I believe it's got a 17-pound spring on there, and it's insane. It holds 29 psi to redline. So charge pipes are gonna be your upgrade when do a big turbo. You don't have to, especially if you don't daily it. But if you want to, maximize reliability, it's not really performance, but reliability overall, then do the charge pipes. So one of the first mods I ever done is number 4, and it's lightweight wheels. So these wheels right here, I got them in 2013, but they're an Oz Ultra Ligera, and they weigh 16.9 pounds. So the stock wheels weigh about 25 pounds, and if you subtract, it's about 8 pounds per wheel. It's about 32 pounds, I believe, of shed weight. And then the benefits of lightweight wheels, there's a lot of them. Obviously, you're going to have less rotational mass, and you're going to have better performance overall, and it's going to allow you to run like a thicker sidewall on your tires. So a thicker sidewall benefits your suspension and performance overall, because this is a front-wheel drive car. You want a little bit thicker sidewall because it allows for more grip, and it also allows for a better ride. And lightweight wheels also improve braking power or stopping power, and also helps with acceleration, kind of like how there's lightweight crank pulleys and all those pulleys there that you can upgrade, which I don't highly recommend at all. But it's kind of like that effect. And I trust me, I tell you right now, when I put these on when I had a stock turbo, I put these on, and the car felt crazy different. It revved up faster. Yes, it does spin in second gear easier because there's less weight on the front wheels, but the performance overall is amazing. Now, these wheels aren't cheap. Back then, I believe they were like $200 a piece. Now they're like 300 and some odd a piece. But the next best option, and a cheaper option, would be the Sparco Seto wheels. Those are, I believe, like 18 some odd pounds for a 17 by 8. Now that you've done that, you basically, there's a few other mods. You got the spare tire delete, and we're not going in order because you don't really need to. They're kind of in conjunction with each other, and they kind of go like this, So, but that's why this is Stage 3 Plus, because it's like an additional step. It's like OEM Plus, basically, Stage 3 Plus. Now you got your lightweight wheels, and you also can improve gas mileage too, because there's less work that your engine has to do to move the car. And also goes to say that when you do that and you shed any weight, you're going to get better performance, stopping power, acceleration. And that's why I wrote down these other mods here. You got balance shaft delete, and you also got the spare tire delete, and there's also seats. So the spare tire delete, I did that years ago. I left it out. That weighs 51 pounds for the 16-inch wheel, and the jack and tools for that weigh about 6.5 pounds. So it's about almost 58 pounds 57.5 pounds of total weight. Notice increased NVH probably a little bit, especially if you delete your rear seats. And if you want your car louder, delete your rear seats, because your seats are sound deadening your car. Also, you'll shed 71 pounds of your rear seats because that's how much they weigh. And then your spare tire, that's 126 pounds right there. I mean, that's crazy. So, and then also, you know, you're gonna get more noise, cleaner look, less weight, obviously. You know, I believe my car, with it being the spare tire deleted and the rear seats out, it weighed 2920 with full tanking gas. And also, I got a balance shaft delete. I've had mine since 2018 before I built the engine. Yes, you can do this with a stock engine, and it's actually really beneficial. And what it does, it's not actually a balancer for a crankshaft. It doesn't balance your crankshaft. What it does is it keeps the NVH of the four-cylinder down, because they produce a lot of vibration naturally, inline engines. So especially the four cylinders, like I believe the Type R, for example, doesn't even come with a balance shaft. There's a lot of high performance four cylinders that don't, because they know that it adds resistance, and it's also a part that can fail and cause catastrophic failure in your engine and destroy the whole thing. So it's better off to get rid of it, and you shed, you know, 19 pounds basically. So you also increase your oil capacity, so you'll add 1 quart. So I've always put in 6 quarts in this car, even though it calls for 5.7. I always did 6. And so now you'd say you'd do 7 quarts because you add a quart, or 6.7 if you want to be nitpicky. But you also get a little bit more NVH. So the NVH comparison, say you went rear motor mount for the first time, you did that and you kind of noticed the vibrations from that. Well, that's kind of what this is. Very comparable balance shaft. It's very, very comparable to the vibrations for that. And you know, some people might not like that, but it also depends on what motor mounts you have. If you have a very aggressive motor mount package, your balance shaft, you're going to notice a lot more. I highly recommend for street use 70 diameter. If you're obviously drag racing, you're going to want to be an 80 plus diameter. But yeah, so the balance shaft delete is a very simple mod. All you have to do is drop your oil pan. I used to have a couple spares, but I don't know where they are, and I can't grab them, so I'd show you. But it's basically like a plug. So what you do is you remove 4 bolts of your balance shaft gear on it. You lower that, and then you add this plug that goes in there with a bolt, and it just plugs off the hole for that. You get better revs as well. I didn't really notice, actually, believe it or not, I didn't notice a difference on the revs for balance shaft like I did the lightweight wheels, for example. The wheels were probably the biggest change, especially going from stock. But you reduce your weight. You don't have to worry about the balance shaft like shredding apart and destroying itself if you're pushing big power. If you're big turbo, you don't want a balance shaft. It's as simple as that. I highly recommend removing it. So this is stage 3 plus, and so next would be, I don't think we're going to do a stage 4 because past that point is building your engine. So I believe what I want to do, and comment below what do you guys want, but I think I'm going to do a whole new series on like stages for building your engine. So like say there's a stage 1 engine build, a stage 2 engine build, and like a stage 3 engine build, and there even could be a stage 4 engine build, and there could even be a stage 0 engine build. Now I wouldn't recommend stage 0, but yeah, so this is basically what you want to do for modding. You know, each stage is how I have it written down, and I highly recommend it doing this way. Like I said, you don't have to do it exactly in this order. Now, when you go on big turbo and say you only have one catch can, you want to make sure that you have a vent to atmosphere catch can as well, so like a secondary. And they make some nice catch cans. I highly recommend the Damon vent to atmosphere kit because it has a nice breather on top. So what they do is they have a check valve in between the breather and the catch can. Once it's under vacuum, you don't have the unmetered air. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, I'll be making another series about engine building and what are the best, parts to build each stage, and the most reliable, cost efficient, basically. So hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.